Well, hello. Welcome back. We have a brand new episode of The Traitors. We are your fabulous hosts at The Royalty. I am Tiffany.
And I am Derek F, aka Big D. Tiffany, you look lovely. You look beautiful.
Thank
We're here for
you.
another episode.
You
Okay.
look
Uh,
amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm trying my best to. I feel like we are doing great with staying in coordination with each other when it comes to these colors for this
Okay.
show.
Okay.
Oh,
You're giving
Tiffany.
Teddy Pendergrass today. Or Teddy Bear
Oh.
DeGrasse.
Ooh, close the door. Is that who sings Close the Door? No, that's
Close
Barry White.
the door.
Damn, that's Barry White. Oh,
No,
shit.
it's not.
Oh, is it? Is it Teddy?
Yes.
Oh, so I had it right. Okay, good. Oh, yay. Yay me. Listen, yay me. Listen, Tiff,
You
first of
did have a
all,
yay me moment and then you took it back.
I did. Hold on. Let me just say this. How are you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on?
I'm
Update
good.
us. You're good? Everything's good?
Hmm.
Okay, I saw you went to Cody's wedding. Did you have a good time?
Oh, I had a fabulous time.
It
Yes.
looked like you did. Your
It was
gown looked
gorgeous.
amazing.
Everything was
Yes.
amazing. It was nice. It was a time.
Yes, I'm so glad. And Tiff, I just feel like you've been on the go, girl. So hopefully you sit your little ass down for a little bit and relax.
I have not been on the nowhere.
Girl, you have been on the East Coast plenty of times. At this point, you need to take a little break. You need to sit down.
Well, we have a very special surprise for you all. You will want to make sure you watch this episode all the way through because we have a very special traitor for you. Also, a legend of Big Brother. We will be joined by the Dan Gheesling.
All right. Well, Tiff, to get into tonight's episode, we have episode 9. This episode was called A Game of Death. What a
Mhm.
strong title for an episode. Tiff,
Mhm.
as always, start us off where we at.
Okay, well, Phaedra was all by herself in the turret when we left off at the last episode, and she had to recruit a traitor or murder the non recruited non traitor. Anyhow, she ends up face to face with Kate. Kate's on one side of this cell, and Phaedra is on the other. She reveals herself and says, "Will you join me, or will you be murdered?" And Kate, knowing she has no real option, she is forced to join Phaedra as a traitor.
I found it very interesting because the way Kate like took it, it was very like I guess like it was this kind of like I think she was a little bit like I don't know if I don't want to be a traitor now, like I think it was just kind of like I can't believe you picked me.
Yeah.
Which usually Kate in the beginning she wanted to be a traitor. She was disappointed that she didn't get picked to be a traitor coming back into the game. So I was pretty shocked by that reaction. Okay.
I
Um
think that's because if she would have been selected as a traitor coming in and when she first came in, then she could have had her mindset wrapped around being a traitor. But coming in the game as a faithful, she accepted that she was a faithful. And then she had to change her mind and wrap her mind around being a traitor. So I kind of understand that. It's like, I've already made my mind up about how I'm going to play this game. Now I've got to play it
yeah.
differently.
Yeah, yeah, that's annoying. Now that you put it in that way, I definitely can see how that would definitely transpire to being like, oh, like we're doing this now. Like we
Yeah.
could have did this earlier in the game. Okay, they're in the turret, and Kate's kind of like, Phaedra, update me, like what's going on. Also, Kate was kind of shocked because she was like, you're the only one left. Like, I
Yep.
think that she was just disappointed. Maybe she was expecting more people. But I mean, in reality, there's usually only, in this game of US, there's only 3 traitors.
Mhm.
So she was just very disappointed just to see it was, just Phaedra left.
I
But
think she
she,
was disappointed to see that it was Phaedra, and she was disappointed that Phaedra didn't have a plan.
That too. Oh my God,
Yeah.
that was so funny because Phaedra just said, well, "What's the plan? What should we do?" And Kate's like, "Girl, I just got this freaking coat, girl. What are you talking about? I'm still processing."
Yeah. And see, that's kind of been Phaedra's thing where she's been relying on the other traders to kind of make the decisions. And she just kind of, she kind of goes along with it because she doesn't have to stick her neck out there. So
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah.
Kate, what do you want to do? Whatever you want to do, that's what we can do.
Yes, which is a smart play because then it's like it's really their plan, and then whatever happens, like you can kind of throw it back at them or whatever. But I mean, in this instance, you have Kate who's like, I don't even know. But Kate, Phaedra also, I don't know if you caught this part. Phaedra, when Kate asked her how was it, working with everybody else, say Phaedra throws out a punt and she says for Dan, she's talking about Dan, which kind of made me laugh. She goes, it was like eating dry toast with no butter, no jam, no
Mm.
jelly. I was like, damn, that is these iconic reads and these iconic situation. It kind of reminded me, Tim, if you remember when I was upset at the Big Brother house and they would talk about the guys trip, and I said, "Damn, y'all better off just bringing a piece of loaf of bread." When I was talking
Mm-hmm.
about bread, that's what it reminded me of. I don't know why we are like Phaedra also described Dan as a piece of bread. So let's just keep it going. When it comes to Big Brother players, I guess they are now known for pieces of breads or loaf of
Oh,
breads
God.
and whatnot. But I found that funny, okay? What happens next, Tiff, after that?
Well, they kind of go back and forth, Phaedra and Kate, about who should they murder. And Kate throws out Kevin's name just simply because he annoys her. And they go back and forth between Peter and Trishelle, but they don't know. They're like one of them could have a shield. I am I'm interested in who's going to be murdered.
Me too. I found that very interesting of the two they would have picked. I'm surprised they also didn't throw out there John. I was pretty shocked by that.
Yeah, John,
Yeah.
who's clearly a faithful, but is leading the faithfuls right along with Peter.
Correct. Yeah, my
Yeah.
boy John, who's a threat. So we cut to breakfast.
Hmm.
Okay, Kate and Sandra are the first ones in. Then comes TT. They're all talking about how Peter is a traitor. They believe that Peter is a traitor. Then comes Peter and MJ. MJ, when she walks in, she looks at Kate and she says, "You look very weird." And she calls
Hmm.
out Kate for her like demeanor, her facial expression.
Yeah.
Also, we do cut to Kate having these green screen moments, Tiff,
Yeah.
where she's like, I don't know if I could do this. This is hard for me. Like I was, she's like, I'm not a liar. Like Kate is like having a hard time with this position, which kind of makes me feel I don't want to say I no, I'm gonna say it. A little disappointed. Like I thought she was gonna come on and be very like boom, 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 boom. Like I'm ready for all you bitches. Like it was very like and I get that she's processing, but like she's really bad at processing. Like I'm pretty shocked that this player who is so cutthroat and so like in your face, now that she has a role to take, it's like she's kind of like I don't know what to do. I mean, what's your thoughts on everything she was saying? Like, wasn't it coming off a little bit like, girl, get your shit together?
I'm Kate. I mean, if I am, you know, I'm a person who needs an adjustment period. If I am, in any game, you have to be able to adjust and you have to be able to pivot. Um, and to have your plan of how you're playing this game in your mind all laid out, and in a matter of hours you have to completely change that, change strategies, change tactics, have um, you know you've got these relationships, but now the dynamics of the relationships are going to be different because you're not a faithful anymore. And then the paranoia of, do I look guilty? Am I behaving as a traitor? That fully resonated with me. I would be Kate in that situation, and I would completely be thrown off because I'm not a good liar. I'm not. I feel guilty when I feel like people know when I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. Um, I just feel like you can see it on me. I completely understood. And I'm not saying she's not going to transition to playing that cold-blooded traitor, but for her to have just become a traitor at night and by breakfast she's supposed to have it all figured out. I'm not expecting that. I would have been her. Dazed, confused, trying to figure out do traders cross their legs? So I understand. I'm Kate.
I get it. And Tiff, I do want to give you a little bit of credit, just a little bit of credit, and you could take it or not. I think that you are very good at adapting. And the reason why I say that is because the game that we played, we had to adapt each week depending on who's winning and where the house was flipping and going. And we had to play a game where a lot of our facial expressions, how we acted, how we did, played into key. So I want to give you some credits because you deserve it. I
And
think that you
honestly, were
did.
we ever surprised? I was never
No,
surprised.
no,
Like
no, no.
I was never
I
caught
think
off guard about anything.
no, we
I
weren't.
always knew what was about to happen.
Of course, but I meant as of you also got to take into play that we also had to deal with times that if things didn't go according to plan of somebody winning and things like that. So I'm just saying in general, I understand what you're saying. Yes, of course, like going overnight and being from this to that real quick. But I just want to give you a little bit of credit because I feel like you did very good in adapting in a game that changed constantly week by week. That's just
Yeah.
my
I
thoughts.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's a different game though, and it's a
Yes.
different type of change, and it's a different
Yeah.
speed. They're changing overnight. We're changing
True.
every week,
Yeah.
So
True.
Big Brother is it's a slow game.
It is in a slow,
You
mental,
got
painful
time.
game.
You got time to fix your face.
True. I don't know. You know, we had Ozza. Now, to go into our next people that walk in, Sheree, Phaedra walk in, John walk in. Now, John walks in. He's talking. He's kind of like he's thinking it's going to be Kevin. They're thinking, Peter thinks it's going to be Trishelle. Other people think it's going to be Trishelle. Coming to find out, Kevin is killed. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I kind of wish that Phaedra and Kate got an opportunity to hear Kevin talk last episode when he was saying he doesn't know if he trusts Peter because in reality they would have kept Peter, kept Kevin, but then they probably would have tried to win after Trishelle, and then she had a shield. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it worked out to what it is, but I just wish they had other people in line of who they were going to get rid of. Okay. Kevin
I
is
kind of
killed.
wonder if
Yeah, go ahead.
Peter was spared because they believed that he had. I legitimately don't know. I've never heard my phone do that ever, but I'm sorry.
Was that
Um,
Mickey Mouse?
yeah,
What the
it was Mickey Mouse.
telling you good night,
Yeah,
pal?
well, Mickey Mouse is on my watch, but I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it's your sleep mode where like you have a sleep timer on
I
that
don't know
tells
about
you
none of
like
that. I don't know about that.
okay,
I'm not about to
all
go
right,
deep
bro.
into that. Um,
But you were talking about Peter.
yeah, I find it interesting that Peter made it another night. I don't understand. I guess they thought he had a shield. I don't understand. I don't.
I don't understand why Peter I don't understand why Peter made another night too. They definitely should have got rid of Peter. It just would have made more sense. But Kevin is killed, okay? As I mentioned, Kate is having a hard time, being a traitor. Trishelle lets everyone know that she does have a shield, and only a few people knew that she had a shield, but she did let everybody know she had a shield. There was a moment that CT, which Tiff I found really funny. I don't know why, but CT asked John, "Do you have any messages for Kevin and whatnot?" And I don't know. Maybe they've been doing this every breakfast or something, or maybe they just cut it out. And John just says, which cracked me up because it's such a southern thing. Bless him. Like, just, I found that very funny, to be honest. Alan comes in. He lets them know they're going to have another challenge. He gives his wonderful, this person's dead speech and whatnot, and he lets them know, don't be late. Which I found it funny because maybe they've been late to challenges and we just don't know about it. But he's like, "Don't be late," and we're going to our next
Mission.
challenge. Excuse me, mission.
Mission.
Thank you so much, Tiff. Sorry, missions. Going to your next mission. Okay. Um, what happens next, Tiff?
Um, well, there's a well, before they go to the mission, CT pulls Phaedra for coffee, and Trishelle asks to come with them, and they want to pin the tail on Peter. Um, that's what that's what
Yeah.
Phaedra is, she's saying, and CT is like, he's been kind of acting, he's not acting like a faithful. He's not a
Yeah.
faithful. He's helping
Yeah.
the traitors. But they get to this mission, and this mission is in the church with it reminds me
Mm-hmm.
of like a medieval times and the monks and the
Yes.
hoods, and
Yes.
everybody is so stoic and it's quiet, and Sheree was
Yes.
scared, and I don't blame her.
Sheree is always scared, and I live for it. It's same thing. All I hear is Sheree and Phaedra. Oh Lord, that's all I hear, and I live for Lord. Oh Lord. Oh God. Ah. Like I live for the dramatics of them. It gives me everything I need. Okay. Um. Alan does a great entrance. Okay.
He
Um.
does.
As always. Um, the goal in this church, as they, are sitting there, Alan lets them know that they're going to have, shields that, I'm sorry, not shields, stained glass windows that you would see in a chapel with their names on it.
Mhm.
And it's going to be process of elimination. But each time they miss to take out anybody, they're going to lose $250 from the money they're supposed to be winning for this challenge. Last person who is there will get a shield. So this is a very interesting type of game because this game could go either way. This reminds me of a little bit of a they just did a couple weeks ago, like a trust safety circle. This is where you kind of show like who do you want to get out and who are the people you're working with and who you like. So just, that's something to definitely keep in mind, which I thought was very interesting. And Phaedra was like, this is great because I have about 4 to 5 people who have my back where we're trying to go out the other side. And she wants to
Mhm.
go after the Peter, the Trishelle, and John crew.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, they start off, Phaedra
Mhm.
is first, Tiff. What is your
Mhm.
thoughts on this challenge? Like, did you think it was, I thought it was interesting, a crossbow, a wooden crossbow. Tell you the truth, girl, I thought they were going to be shooting some damn vampires. It was a wooden crossbow. Like, this looked like something you would use back in the day to try to kill some vampires.
Yeah, this was an interesting mission. I think it was a little more challenging than they thought it was going to be. Trying to set up the crossbow, aim, and fire. Um, and yeah, strategy had to come into place because you don't want to lose money for your team. You don't want to ruin the mission and not and lose all the money, but you also don't want to show your cards necessarily and who you're going for. So, at some point, because it gets challenging, Phaedra goes first. She aims at John because she doesn't think that he needs a shield. So her strategy is not necessarily who can I hit, but who should I hit? And then CT is doing the same thing. He aims for Kate. He misses. Kate aims for CT. She misses. Sandra aims for John. Misses. Sheree aims for John. Misses. Then they finally, like they get to this aiming for Sheree, and then they realize like the arrow is pointed right on Sheree. Sorry, Sheree, it's not personal. At this point, the strategy is not about who doesn't need the shield. The strategy is whose whose glass can we break so that we stop losing all of this money. And MJ finally breaks Sheree's glass. And once that happens, then glass is just breaking everywhere. They're breaking all the window panes until you have CT, who was it? CT, John, and someone else at the
It was
top.
CT, John, and it was Kate at the top, and then there was
Okay.
Trishelle
At the
at the
bottom.
bottom right. That was
Mm-hmm.
left.
Yeah.
So, Phaedra's up to par. And Sandra, before Phaedra goes up, which I found very interesting, and I'll talk about it later, Sandra, turns to Phaedra and is like, we should go after Trishelle, and Phaedra's like, okay. So she's like, hey, the goal was they've been going, like I said, in order, left to
Mm-hmm.
right, whatever, up and down, whatever order they're having. And she decides to take that arrow and go from this top to down here to Trishelle.
Yeah.
CT picks up on it.
He
Some
did.
people not, notice it. And then she goes after Trishelle, takes out Trishelle. And then they continue to go back up to the top. And then they go for, if I'm correct, they try to go for Kate. And
Yeah.
then they go for John.
Mm-hmm.
And then
CT is left with the shield.
CT is left with the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Alan lets them know, go back to the castle. CT did pick up on that. People had conversations in the car. Trishelle was telling Sheree that she, thinks that Phaedra was going after her, which, you know what? Give her a flower. Just a tiny flower for having the cojones to go for the talk about Phaedra to Sheree. Okay, let me give her that.
She
That's
did.
that's
Well,
that's
Trishelle has been very vocal in who she thinks is a traitor, who needs to go. She is actively playing this game. I'm not mad at her at all. She didn't come to ride on the sideline to get carried to the end. She is actively playing this game. Um, so they get back to the castle. Peter pulls Phaedra. He wants to have a little chat with her.
also. Can we talk about the mac and cheese?
What about it?
I just found it very interesting. I don't know if it was good because of the way that everybody was. Some people were loving it. I could tell by some faces. I don't know if it was good. I found it very interesting. I kind of want to know if it was good or not. I need to know. I need to
I'm
know if it
sure
was
it
good.
wasn't grandma's mac and cheese.
Okay. But John does have a conversation, Tiff, with
Hmm.
Trishelle and with Peter, letting them
Hmm.
know they're going to try to convince Sandra and MJ to come onto their side because they realize they don't have the numbers for banishment. They have to have the numbers for banishment. And
Yeah.
they're like, we're being targeted. Like,
Hmm.
we are next. Like, one of us are going to go if we don't figure out how to target Phaedra. Like, they want to target Phaedra. Okay.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Tiff. What happens next?
So while Peter is talking to Phaedra, Trishelle tries to convince the Bravo girls that Phaedra is a traitor. And she's just like, Phaedra's got four people who are never going to vote for her. And MJ affirms, like, I am going to be open minded in my voting. I'm not here to win a personality contest. And I don't know if she meant personality or she meant popularity, but she let them know that although we may all be from the same network, I didn't come here for that. I plan to vote very open mindedly. Kate makes a good point that Peter is trying to win and she doesn't want to see him make it to the end. So that's why she will be voting for Peter. And then on the other side of this of this conversation in a different room. CT is conflicted that Phaedra and Sandra purposely prevented Trishelle from getting a shield. And so he pulls Trishelle and he has a chat with her about the mission. And he confirms to Trishelle that he believes that Phaedra and Sandra are traitors. And during this conversation, he's had enough of the conversation. He's like, you know what? Just forget it. We're going to, we got it. We're doing this. We're voting for Phaedra. And Trishelle's finally feeling like she's got the numbers and she's got some numbers. And an important number to her, which is CT, because she hasn't felt that connection with him in this game, that they've been on the same page. And for him to make that pivot to say, I'll vote for Phaedra, I think that really entrusted Trishelle to him. So Trishelle is ready to go to the round table, guns blazing. And John definitely feels like Phaedra is a traitor. And he is like, hey, if we don't get rid of her, she will get rid of us. And they've got their guns loaded. They look like they're coming for Phaedra.
Are and 100%. And I also want to say, Peter having that conversation with Phaedra by pulling her aside so Trishelle can go talk to the girls. I mean, it was clever, but it was also kind of, I don't know, Peter, it kind of shot Peter a little bit in the foot a little bit. Because as we get to this round table, nobody wants to talk at this round table. It seems like everyone is like, tensions are high at this point. John starts off. Now, I love me some John. That's my homie. Okay. And I'm still, I'm here for it because I have to say, John to me is a good player. He's somebody I don't think people saw coming. But, he does one of his, speeches, politician speeches, and it's very long winded, but it's very like, I mean, he's come, like, sometimes his speeches make you feel like this is real life. Like, if he's prosecuting someone to go to jail,
Well,
he's
what
like
he
talking about internal. Yeah, like, what does he say? Like,
he
please
says to
tell.
her, he says he definitely calls Phaedra out as a traitor, and he just gives them a couple of little points that the two people who called her out were murdered. That her approach to the game is to avoid error. She's non-committal. And he's like, we have to confront and defeat the enemy. He has observed her game and he laid it out the way she plays it. And it's almost like it's no denying that. But then Phaedra denies it. And Phaedra says this is not parliament, to bring it down a bit. We're not over in the UK. You don't have to grandstand on me and my reputation and how I am playing. Those two people that were murdered were in cahoots with the bromance, Peter. And also, while we're talking about Peter, Peter wants to work with me. It's what he just said.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, those are the things that I just go, damn. Like, you talk about, like, this is showing lawyer, baby. But this is also showing like lawyer plus, baby. You gotta be like, when you're a housewife, you gotta be on your P's and Q's, okay? Like, these women are doing reunions seasons after seasons, ready for anything to be thrown at them.
I definitely think it's lawyer. It's lawyer
No, it's
first.
definitely lawyer, but I'm
It's
just
lawyer
saying it
first.
definitely
Because
is lawyer first.
Sheree couldn't handle that. Sheree wouldn't
No,
be able to
Sheree's
handle that.
never. I'm sorry. I love Sheree. I've watched her for my whole entire years, but Sheree's not a reader. But like, take her example.
I
I'm
don't.
sorry. Nene Leak says
Yeah. Yeah.
there's certain girls that can do it and certain girls that can't do it, and
It's a,
Phaedra's one of those girls that could do it.
but Phaedra is being able to walk out of the fires and she's guilty. When you're on a show, when you're doing these housewife shows, They're not guilty of anything. They're there living amongst each other in spatting back and forth with the comments, who can get it out the fastest, who can be the wittiest. But when you actually are a traitor and you're guilty and people are coming at you and laying out these facts, Phaedra is able to walk them back. And I find it impeccable that she does not crack under the pressure. It is 100% giving lawyer.
Oh yeah, it's
It's
hard.
it's defense attorney at its best.
Yeah,
What do you mean he killed somebody? I mean, like, if I ever needed an attorney, I want one like that one. I could be
I agree.
guilty as hell. I know you're not gonna get up there and make me appear, seem, look, sound, think I'm guilty.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
she's
she's
got
good.
it. She's
And I
got it.
love, you know, the best part when she started the statement before she even went on John and Peter. She goes, "Thank the Lord, you're not God." I was like, "Shit!" Like this is the thing. Like that we're actually seeing. You're right. Like yes, she's a lawyer. We're seeing how like this is like court. And I can't, like you said, the pressure of this game and where we're at and the relationships to build around this table, it's hard. I can't imagine each week. Now we're getting smaller. Now I'm like seeing people even more, and I have to continue on lying that I
Yeah.
am not a traitor. That's
Her
hard.
ability to compartmentalize and believe, like, she in those moments has to believe, just like she has to believe her client is innocent. She believes, I am a faithful and I'm moving as a faithful. I don't think that any traitor can move like that. Like, I'm Kate, and I don't care what people say. They like, Tiff, you should go on Traitors. You should go on Traitors. I don't even know. I don't.
No,
I legitimately don't even know. I don't, and I
no,
because
I
I
want
don't
you.
want to be a traitor. I don't. I don't even know that I could do it because the
Tiff, I
minute
think you'd be a great trader.
no, the minute somebody start coming at me about some shit I know I did, I don't. I'd be like you. I did. Fucking tired. Let
Not
me
fucking
out.
thing.
Let me
Not
out.
let me out. I'm gonna tell you this now. Make me a traitor because I'm gonna run circles around everybody. I'm telling you, I will. I will
Yeah, I got a
move the
better
way
shot
it
of
moves.
sniffing out a traitor than being a traitor. I'm not a traitor. I'm not a. I'm Peter.
So,
So
yeah, go
Peter,
ahead. What she says. What she says after that.
well, Peter claims like, hey, I don't want to work with you. That was just I just want to talk to you, and just because I want to talk to you doesn't mean I want to work with you. People do pull each other to the side. Phaedra tells Peter, I don't have to answer to you saying convince you that I'm not a traitor. Which all of these are great assessments of the situation that she's been in. He's like, I just tried to talk to you and you wouldn't, you can't convince me that you're not a traitor. And then she said, I don't have to convince you that I'm not a traitor. Whereas I could see me being like, but I'm not a traitor. Let me tell you why I'm not a traitor. I'm not a traitor because this. But I love that she's like, I don't have to do that because a faithful wouldn't do that.
True. No, a faithful wouldn't do that.
A
A
faithful wouldn't
faithful
try to get him
wouldn't do.
like, listen, I done already told you I'm not, just
Yeah.
like Peter.
I would, and she said it right. Because if I was at that table, I would have said, "I don't have to convince you to be. I don't have to convince you that I'm not a traitor. What I have to do is just explain myself in front of everybody, and that's it. Your
Yep.
opinion doesn't matter. There's about how many 8 more people at this table. You don't matter. Let's continue. That's what I would have done.
Well, Peter got really upset when Phaedra called him a selfish player. And that didn't sit well with him. And so, to break that ice up a little bit, CT found his voice.
Yeah, you know that voice of his.
And CT wants to go back to the mission. And he has a whole diagram drawn on his chalkboard
Mm-hmm.
illustrating the three pane glasses up here and Trichelle's pane glass down here at the bottom. He wants to know, why was Trishelle prevented from getting a shield? And he's he's looking in Phaedra's direction, and she just cannot believe
Believe
it.
it. Yeah, she can't believe it. But she didn't crack.
She's not gonna crack.
No, she didn't crack. She wanted. I think she wanted to crack. I think she was so shocked that she wanted to crack. But when
No,
he
she didn't
said,
want to crack. She just wanted to crack on CT. She just
"Well,
wanted to be
that's
like, "How the fuck could you?"
right, of course." Well, you could. I'm just saying you could tell on her face. But I will say this: when he said that, I got to give CT his credit. I know CT has been playing a very reserved, looking back, watching from afar type of game. And it actually now is showing up. Like, okay, here's Challenger CT that we all know now. Like, this is what we've been waiting for. I know we've been having funny, romance and all this type of stuff, CT, but now this is the CT that it's like putting the pieces together. So I got to give him credit for picking up on that, because the only people that were, obviously picking up on that are the people that are obviously against Phaedra, John, Trishelle, and Peter. Okay.
Yeah.
But after he says that, what happens next, Tiff? Because he also calls out Sandra. And the thing that I noticed, I will say this, Tiff, I mean, I'm glad Sandra did speak up when she did, but I felt like Sandra could have. I don't know. I guess you can't really say that. Because he was going at Phaedra about it. I'm just surprised Sandra's not like, oh, it was my idea. But I get it, because in this, I know, you know me. I'm just being very like overprotective of Phaedra. So I'm like, girl, just speak up. Like, you know me. I'm like, speak up, Sandra. Say something, girl. Say something, because you're the one who said it, girl. Say something. That's why I want it so badly. But I know in the game, you can't sit there and say that, because then they'll be like, oh, girl, you're the traitor then. So,
Yeah, I try to take a more objective approach to these games and to why someone is doing something and why someone else is not. Like, if I'm Sandra's family and I'm watching, there's no way I'm thinking, Sandra, speak up and say something. Like, I try to put myself in the shoes of each one of them, as if I want each one of them to succeed. Then how am I looking at the moves that they're making? And I think Sandra did the right thing. Shut up, girl. Ain't nobody's. It's not
yeah,
your place to take blame. No, if
yeah,
somebody point the blame on you, then you can defend yourself then,
of
but
course.
not stepping up to the plate and going, that was
Yeah. No, I mean, of course, and I'll just say that's just me just trying to be like, I'm so team Phaedra. I'm like, girl, but I get that. Like, of course, you don't speak up and take ownership to nothing. Of course,
yeah.
if it's not anything to do with you. In the Book of Commandments of Tiffany, Monique Mitchell, we will say, learn how to STFU. You guys know what that means, and that's something you learn from Tiffany. So please continue, Tiffany. I know we're at the point of, she's calling out Peter. I think I'm correct. I think her and Peter are still going back and forth.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Sandra makes a comment about, you wanted to, Peter wanting to save Parvati, and you knew she was a traitor. And Peter is trying to defend himself, going, like, there's so much evidence that I'm not a traitor. Like, why would I have misfired and tried to murder Bergie when I knew that he had a shield? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And so he says, like, if we don't get a traitor out tonight, the traitors will win. And then Alan lets them know.
But I will say this: the one thing we almost forgot. Phaedra ate Peter up, because she said, "This is not The Bachelor.
Yeah.
I do not have to kiss your ass for a rose." And Peter was so upset and so pressed, because I don't think he's ever been read before, and he took it so like to heart. And I'm just like, I don't know if people understand you're in a game of debate. Like, this is like a debate type of game. Like, you're supposed to throw jabs. You're supposed to fight for yourself. Like, I don't think he understands it. And I think he's never dealt with that before. And he was very like, I liked you in the beginning. You could tell she hit a nerve. When she talked about that Bachelor, it hit a damn nerve. But yes, we do get the votes, Tiff. Go ahead. What happens next?
Well, of course, Phaedra votes for Peter. Sandra votes for Peter. Peter votes for Phaedra. John votes for Phaedra. No surprise, Trishelle votes for Phaedra. And it's CT's turn to vote. And CT votes for Phaedra.
Yeah, that was hard to watch.
And CT said, I'm in a catch 22 because she's my friend,
Yeah,
but I came here to play a game. And those things do happen. You come
true.
in with an agenda, you come in to play a game, and then you meet somebody that you didn't expect to care about, and you've got to make a decision on,
Mm-hmm.
am I playing, what am I playing this game for? What did I come
Mm-hmm.
here for? Who am I playing this game for?
Mm-hmm.
And um, he is standing 10 toes down that he came to play this game to win.
Okay.
He says, Phaedra, I am voting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Sheree votes for Peter because Phaedra can tell Sheree she is a traitor, and Sheree ain't gonna vote for Phaedra.
As you should. As you should. Sisters sticking together. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Kate votes for Peter, and now it's MJ's turn to vote
Oh,
because we are tied, baby.
MJ having the last vote just makes me so sick. I'm so, I've been over MJ since those weeks before when, she could have, when she was doing stupid stuff. But her having the last vote, and then for them,
Who do you think MJ's gonna vote for?
I do want to say this first. Peacock, you wrong. I don't know what you think this is.
They
This
need to
is
stop.
not. This is not like we need to stop.
It's
We
not
have we're
soap. Like we don't
right.
have to be continued every week.
Correct. And if
We
you're
know
gonna
it's to
do
be
this,
continued.
right? If you're gonna, this is not a like. Usually Netflix does this, and they still give us the episode afterwards. You can't be doing this, Peacock. We don't do this no more. Let's leave these cliffhangers in 2020, early 20, before COVID. Let's stop with the cliffhangers. We don't got time. We still want to give you your We're still going to give you your views because I know you were like, we got to leave them hanging so they'll come back
They've
next
got to
week.
come back. They've got to come back.
Yeah, we're gonna come
And
back. We
that's the
love the
only thing that
show.
kind of makes me wonder who goes because
Me too.
maybe whoever goes, Peacock feels like we're gonna lose viewers, but whoever
Mm-hmm.
goes between Phaedra or Peter, they're going to lose viewers. I
Oh,
just
for sure.
I just think because they both have their fan base, and
Yeah.
somebody's looking for them to be
Mm-hmm.
the person, um, and I do think that regardless of MJ's open mindedness,
Yeah.
I think she's gonna stick with the Bravo girls.
I hope she listen. The fan in me is like, yes, please stick with the Bible girls. But I will say this: you are right about that, Tiff. I mean, for them to leave a cliffhanger like that, it gives me like, it kind of makes me feel like she might have wrote Phaedra. And they know if they lose Phaedra, they're losing a lot of viewers and stuff. But no matter what, this was a great episode. We're coming down to the wire of players that are left. I'm just very, very, very impressed.
Then what does Kate do?
Like, I think Kate's gonna have to trade on Phaedra. She's gonna have to throw Phaedra underneath the bus because at some point, if we don't get Phaedra now, Phaedra's next to go no matter what because
Well,
they're
what if
gonna
Phaedra
be.
does leave this time? Then Kate's the only traitor. So then who's she going to recruit?
I don't know. She's gonna if she has time to recruit somebody, she might try to recruit somebody from the other side, like John or whoever's left on that side, Trishelle or Peter's still there. She might try to go for that, no matter what. But I mean, it sucks because once you're recruited, it's like it's hard because now that your name's out there, and you know what? I blame that damn Dan. Dan wrote Phaedra's name down, and this is how it all got started, okay? But speaking of Dan, we do have Dan being our special guest on this episode, so we can't wait for you guys to watch it, and we're going to cut to that now.
As promised, we came to deliver. It is signed, sealed, and delivered. We have the myth, the man, the legend, the Big Brother Season 10 winner, Big Brother Season 14 runner up, and Traitors Season 2 USA, the one and only Dan Gheesling.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I don't know about all that intro. I'm just excited to be here and let you know that this is the last interview before I vanish,
Where
never
are
to
you
be seen
going?
again.
Oh my God, I love that.
This is like the last Traitors interview. I'm like, Tiff's been DMing me for a while. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
No,
From
thanks.
one
Thank you for having me on.
Michigan alum to another, I appreciate you taking time to be here and, letting us be the grand finale.
No, I appreciate you guys inviting me.
Hey, you saved the best for last. I will tell you that. Okay, this is where you gonna have some fun, Dan.
All right, let's
right?
do it.
So at
Let's
least
do it.
you could go out. Okay, so Dan, of course, welcome to the show. We are obviously your Big Brother family. We're so glad to have you here. I first just want to ask you before we get into everything. Have you, since your episode, have you been keeping up with the other episodes, or of course, like I feel like you already know what happens, but have you been keeping up with it, or what's your feedback so far?
Yeah. So I took a vacation last week, so I missed episode 8, but then yesterday watched 8 and 9 and caught up. And I'm a huge fan of the show. I mean, it's such a cool concept, and I don't know what happens in the end, wink, wink, but to see how things play out has been cool.
Okay, good.
Is there a battle back? Is there a battle back? Is there any way you possibly come back, you show up, you win?
Hannah, I wish that were the case. Unfortunately, Kate told me in the game you can't win everything, and it was a humbling experience nonetheless. But sorry to let you down, Hannah, if I did.
Speaking about that being a humbling experience, Dan,
Yeah.
have you had time to look back and assess your gameplay and maybe narrow down if you did anything wrong, or do you think there was something that you could have done that would have allowed you to stay longer in the game? Where do you think that things went wrong for you?
Tiffany, you already know. You know, the first thing I did, I made a list. I think it ended up being like 22 things that I did wrong. And that was one part of it, was all these mistakes I made. The second part is it's just not me. Like, there's some really smart, sharp players in there. So it's a combination of two. Like, I made so many mistakes. It was such a different game. And, there's been so many different times where, like, we were in New York doing press, and Janelle's like, how come you weren't like this? Like, we're all hanging out. She's like, how come you weren't like this in the game? And it's just, I start slow in these games. I get to know people because I know it's our first time meeting. I'm really kind of an introvert, which is kind of weird to be on a TV show, but I get to know people one-on-one. And then when you're comfortable, then we talk strategy. I just, it took way too long to get started in this game.
Do you feel like you would have played the game differently or better had you not been a traitor? Like, would you have been more comfortable being a faithful?
Yeah, I think there was no way I wanted to play as a faithful.
Right.
I didn't want to, I hadn't played in 10 years, and I didn't want to come sit on the sidelines. So the way it worked out, I was happy with it. I think I'm probably better suited, after the fact to play as a faithful, because like how I am as a faithful, how I interact is building trust with people. And I feel like I never, like, I watched Cherie and I'm like, okay, she was never throwing names out. She was always like pretty chill. And I feel like I took that to the extreme. What she did do that I didn't do was that when people would come up to her, she'd give them feedback, and I would just be like, I don't know, what do you think? Or like, I didn't want to get pinned for like lying about someone.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it sounds like maybe you would have chosen to play a little less passively. Did you kind of confuse being passive with laying low?
I think what I underestimated was how much effort it took to like conceal being a traitor. So like normally I'm thinking like, okay, all these different things going on. The one thing I didn't think about is, what does it look like for a traitor to act like a faithful? I was just more just like, don't get caught. Like, and there's a bunch of times like right away, like Lars is like, hey Dan, are you a traitor? I'm like, yeah, you got me. And I was like laughing, but I'm like, I'm not even prepared for this. So I think one of the things of many that I could have done different is like, what does it look like for a traitor to act like a faithful? And I never played that way.
Dan, let me ask you this. Speaking of, you were talking about watching Cherie. Here's my question. Have you took the time, I don't know what you do in your free time, but I'm just curious. Do you watch the other competition shows? Like, did you watch other seasons of Big Brother? Did you watch other seasons of Survivor? Like, did you kind of like get your knowledge and be like keeping up your game? Because you had to knock that dust off. It's been a long time, Dan. It's been a long time, man. I'm telling you, okay?
I don't know if there's enough time for me to knock all the dust off. No, like, I'm married with 3 kids, and all my like free time is hanging out with them. And if we're watching TV, we're watching Bluey. So to answer your question, no. But like, if someone played from like 2015 and earlier, I knew who they were. But like, I knew
So you knew
was a
one
housewife.
person.
Yeah, I mean, like I knew like Sandra Parvati, and then I knew who the housewives were, but I the only one I'd seen on TV was Tamra. So to answer your question, no, I didn't really, I didn't know the facets and the depths of some of these people. I knew what they were from. I'm like, okay, Atlanta housewife. Oh, Shaw's of Sunset, but that's all I knew. I didn't know the stuff I wish I would have known going into it.
Oh, go ahead, Hannah.
I'm so sorry because I do have to get back to class. But the last question I want to ask you is, Dan, you mentioned how you were sort of familiar with the housewives, didn't know too much about them. I can imagine that walking in, the gamers in there maybe compartmentalized like the non-competitive game show people from the competitive game show people. I mean, you guys had an alliance yourselves. So who would you say you underestimated the most in the game, just based on the show that they came from and the nature of it?
Definitely top 2 would be Peter and Phaedra. Peter, I didn't see the trap coming. Like, I'm the one that sets the traps, but I tip the cap. I'm like, it's a great play. Like, I'm not mad at you. It's awesome. I just didn't see that coming from him. And there were moments where it's like, Parvati's like, hey, do you think he's probably lying to us? I'm like, no, he doesn't have it in him. Well, he had it in him. And the same thing with Phaedra. Phaedra from a hand-to-hand combat is the best way I can describe it. Like, I'm like I didn't expect to run into a buzzsaw when I'm like taking my funeral shot at Phaedra. I'm like, I knew she was sharp, and I'm like, I gotta at least surprise her. But you guys gotta understand, when I do this stuff in Big Brother, it's just like everyone's like, yeah, cool, like this. And this, I was like, I just got punched in the face, and that's never happened before.
So were you expecting to run circles around these people?
Let me be honest.
Be honest, Dan, because I'm not taking no bullshit on this podcast, okay?
When I walked in there, I'm like, okay, here's what I got to watch. Parvati, Sandra, Janelle. That's it. Everyone else, I'm like, as long as I can know what's going on with them, I'm good. And, I think it's an example of pride coming before the fall, not respecting everyone you're playing against, not from like a respect human standpoint, but like, look, like, you're a housewife, you're on The Bachelor, you're on Shaw's of Sunset. Like, this is what I do. Yeah. And they showed me they do it a little bit better than me. Yeah, a lot better than me.
Well, listen, on your free time, you better be watching these housewives now, Dan. And listen, you need to ask some of us to catch you up, so we could have got you ready, okay?
This is it. Like, when I say vanish, like, this is it. Like, for me, like, I'll be like, exiting stage left here. Like, this is it for me. This was such a cherry on top. Like, you guys will never see me play again.
That being said, Dan, it was such an honor to meet you virtually. I still can't believe you know that my name's Hannah. You just made my whole entire weekend.
If I need anesthesiology, just take care of me, okay? Don't be like, hey, like, this is my, just take care of me. That's all I gotta ask.
God forbid you ever need to go under the knife, but in the event that any of you do, just call me up. I can be your anesthesiologist. But thank you so much, Dan, for giving us your time.
Thanks for being here.
Of course. Tiffany, Big D, love you both. I'll see you guys soon.
Love you, Hannah.
See you in the summer, girl. We can't wait to have you back.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Hannah. But yes, Tiff, your next question, because I know you were about to ask the question. Unless you want me to go, because I had another question. Oh yeah, my next question to you was, because Dan, I'm just telling you, this is great to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Let me ask you this: how did you feel about Dr. Will showing up, like him showing up but not competing? Do you have any feedback, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't watch that until last night, and my thoughts on that are he's an interesting cat. That's what I'm gonna say about that. Like, he's an interesting cat.
I want to help you I'm going to
on
help you with
television
this.
and in real life. He's an
Tiff's
interesting
going to
guy.
help you.
I'm
Tiff's
going
going to
to help
help
you
you.
with this. I found it very interesting that Traitors brought in someone who was totally unaffiliated with Traitors and expected the guests to be wowed by this person who they probably don't even know who he is. It made no sense to me, and I'm like, what did he do? Did he submit his resume? Did he pull it in a call? Does he have an agent who has connections that was like, yeah, you need to get Dr. Will in there? If anything, I felt like Cerise should show up. Like usually when you host, the host is someone who the guests are supposed to be like, oh my gosh, it's you. But I
I
didn't
think you would have
get
seen
that.
people flip out if Suri was there. Like people would be like, "Oh my," like,
That's the
and
reaction
the
you look
fans
for.
too. The fans
Yeah.
would have been like, "She's it. She's the one." And then, but I don't know. My theory, and I don't know anything about anything. My theory is that he got asked, wants no part of competing. He's like, "Oh, I'll do this instead." But I think they were setting up a payday with either Janelle being there or myself or both of us, and then there probably being some like witty banter.
Okay.
But it just kind of I think the show's been amazing. I think that's probably the first thing that kind of like what you said kind of fell kind of flat. It's
Yeah.
nothing against him, but it just there was no like the pop was gone because
Yeah.
no one knew who he was.
I
can
got
see
one
that.
more question, Derek, before
Yeah.
you change. I want to just piggyback off of this. Like you're saying, the show is doing very well. And first season, they had like just regular people playing with TV people. And then this season, we see that they brought in like the heavy hitters. They went big for casting. Do you project that moving forward, the participants will become people on a higher scale and maybe not so regular, competitive?
Well, I feel like I fall on the regular scale just because when I was there, I'm like these people are like they're all like I. The thing that was tough about this is I liked everyone. Some you guys know you played Big Brother. There's people who are like I can't wait to get them out or I can't wait to not see them for a while. Everyone was super cool, but for me, when I watched the first season, I was watching for Sari, Rachel, Cody, it was not Kate, but the other one, Brandy. I'm like, I know who these people are, so I don't need their backstory. And I feel like in a show like The Traitors, there's not enough time to learn about like John the farmer in Iowa. So like coming in, and the other thing I think it did, and I'm not saying anything new, is like you bring in Phaedra, she has a fan base, the Bravo fan base. You bring in Peter, you bring in Deontay Wilder, who, by the way, no one really knew who he was. I walked in and I'm like,
What?
I know,
No
I'm
one
like,
knew who he was?
not really. And I'm like, do you guys understand if this were the 90s, this is like Mike Tyson being here. And so
Yeah.
you bring in all these people when they have these built-in fan bases, and people also just want to tune in to see like the car crash. Like at some point, like these bizarro like TV characters from different comic book worlds are going head to head that aren't even on the same platform. And I think it would made for incredible television.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. And to piggyback off of Tiff, I mean, I tell you the truth, I get worried. I don't know if Big Brother can do Celebrity Big Brother after this. Like, these are all heavy hitters, and everyone is talking about this show. Do you think they will keep, and I know Tiff kind of asked it, do you think they will keep that same type of tier going into next season as of, let's pick the same kind of Housewives, Big Brother Survivor, sport players, all that. Do you think they'll continue that?
Yeah, I mean, I think they captured lightning in a bottle. To me, it's been so surprising that it took, this long, and all credit to Sharon Vaughn and with Peacock and NBC. Like, you have all these established reality TV personalities that people know, and they've never been in any crossovers together. And it's like, why is that? Why is that not the case? And I think this show, I know Netflix is already starting to try to emulate this, and they won't be the last ones. I think that you'll see a resurgence of some of your favorite reality show competitors and TV show. You're going to see this time and time again because I just can't believe it's taken this long for someone to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Now,
with
I'm
that.
sure you've gotten this question before. You played Big Brother twice. We know that living in that house completely changes your mind, right?
I think it changes who you are too.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. I explain it as I'm a pretty out of the box thinker. I'm a pretty open minded person. But when you go into the Big Brother house, like your box gets deeper and it becomes more open and you can't close it back, like coming
You're just
out.
You just exploded my mind with that. I'm like, what does that even mean? But
That's what Tiff does.
I gotta
That's
catch
what
up.
she
I
does.
gotta catch up a little.
Dan's like box,
deep,
box open.
Okay.
What? Okay.
No, but I know what you're saying. You're not the same person walking out of there, and you're never going to be the same person.
Things that you looked at as being one way, you don't see them that way anymore. You realize that things can be three-dimensional. The biases that you have or your perceptions of people, then you come out, you go in and you live with people and you're like, oh, things aren't exactly the way that they are in Kansas, over here they're a little different. And so then when you go back to Kansas, you have to tell people like, actually, that doesn't mean that. I've lived with people who do these things and that doesn't mean that they're this way,
Yeah.
Playing Traitors, I know you don't necessarily get to live with people. It's not that length of time that you get to spend. But in comparison to the games, I know you probably won't play games again. You play games in real life. You live, you play mind games with real people in real life. But which game is more impactful on like your processes, Big Brother or Traitors?
Yeah, I mean, Parvati said this, and I really feel this to be true. Traitors is a show first and a game second, meaning like it's like you're going there to do a job, and it's a fun, amazing job. Everyone's on board. Everyone's 100% all in. But Big Brother is like your life. Like it's because in the Traitors, like you have time away alone, and it's like you can call, I call my wife, check in on my kids. You have time to like journal and get away. But Big Brother, it's your life. And so the good part about that is that Traitors, like I pretty much came back into normal life, like super quick. In Big Brother, like Tiff, I know you've seen, Derek, I don't know how much you watch. Like I'm a killer in there, and like you don't go from being a killer in Big Brother to like normal Dan in real life. That's the hardest part for me. And I did it once when I wasn't married, once when I was married, and it took a long time. And my wife Chelsea's a saint for putting up with me, but I couldn't do that with children. For me, like the way I play, I couldn't do that because I can't go into Big Brother again. Like I only know how to play one way. And like I tried to do that in the Traitors and play the same playbook, but I go in there, I'm going to just decimate people, and it's hard to do that. And you guys know when you develop these true relationships.
Oh yeah.
But to like lighten the mood a little bit, like Traitors is so much fun. It's like playing a board game. And I loved every minute of it. It was like the cherry on top of like the reality TV Sunday for me.
And Dan, I know who you are, by the way. I do know who you are. You might not know who I am. I was the star of the cookout, unfortunately. But
I'm a huge boxing fan. So when I saw you, like I remember seeing you on the cast list of when it came, I'm like, why couldn't you be on my seat? We talk boxing,
Literally. But go ahead, Tiff. I'm sorry. Then I have one question, then I'm done with you, Dan.
I just wanted to say, we see that Kate has been recruited from faithful to traitor, and she appears to be having a difficult time making that transition. But when you recruited Parvati, how do you feel she transitioned from traitor? Faithful to traitor.
I mean, like, Parvati is it. It's like, it's like recruiting, it's what you want.
Michael Jordan to play basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, to me, what I loved enjoying watching the show is that watching her do the poisoning, like with the chalice, I'm like, it's like another day at the office for her. And I'm like, I would have been like fumbling all over. But she's such a professional though. And I think, I think it was fun for reality TV competition show people to see her in that role. And, I'm not outside of that. When I was there, I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. I get to, be a traitor with Parvati.
Yeah, it was really good. My last question to you, Dan, is one of your competitors, because listen, I will always ask the tough questions. Okay?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, so one of your competitors said that it turns out that Dan, that he wasn't, or she, because I'm not gonna say who it was, he or she.
I could probably guess who's gonna say it.
Turns out that I wasn't Dan's biggest threat. His insecurities were. Do you have any feedback to that?
No, I mean, like, I'm a grown man married with 3 children. This to me is a hobby. Like I'm playing hard, but like to say anything about that about me personally. It's like whatever, to me, it's like I play these games and, when I go, I play really hard. But one thing that's really important to me is that I knew one day, like my sons are going to grow up, my daughter's going to grow up, and they're going to watch this. And they're going to be like, Dad, why did you say X about someone? And I can look at these games and be like, look, I played hard. I may have gone after you, thrown everything at you, but I never made fun of you, never tried to embarrass you, never do anything or say anything that I wouldn't be comfortable being called to task on in front of my kids. I know it's going to happen one day, but I've never. And so like, to me, that's how I play the game. But for me to assume that everyone plays the game that way or expect people to, I don't. So I take all this with a grain of salt. You guys know when you're on TV, you open yourself up to whatever it is that you agree to and what you don't agree to. And for me, I'm totally cool with what anyone has to say about me.
Yeah. What you're saying is you play with integrity. And
I mean, I think that's an interesting question because I don't think there is that in these games. I think it's like you play, there's a different rule set. And like, to me, I never wanted to be taken as like, oh, there's a right way to play and a wrong way to play. I think when you leave the game, and I'm experiencing this now, I think there's people that are like, okay, cool, it's a game. And some people leave and they're like, no, it's not a game. Like, I'm really upset by what you did. And I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand. I get it.
I've spoken with people who may be interested or not interested in going on Traitors, like as Big Brother players. And I don't know how your experience was with the fan base coming out. It can kind of warp you a little bit, right?
They're rough.
Where you feel like, I don't ever want to go and expose myself to the public again because the backlash, the ridicule, the fans. Coming off of Traitors, one, when you made the decision to go back in, was that something you thought about? Like, is this opening back this box that I thought that I had closed? Like, I've gotten the fans off of my case. I've kind of, healed from having to defend myself. I've created this new life. Was that something that you considered, that going back in? And then did you feel coming out that it was just as hard coming out of the Traitors as it was coming out of Big Brother and seeing what people were saying about you?
No, I mean, going into this, I had zero concern about social media because to me, at the end of the day, is that your concern for social media for me, am I going to do anything that I wouldn't be able to explain or something I'm not proud of? And to me, I'm going to play a game. I'm not going to like get on the next show. I'm not going there to like extend my shelf life. I'm going there to play the game. And that's what I was there to do. So to me, I was anything that people may not agree with the strategy or how I executed things. I'm cool with that. The thing, that was a little different for me because like last I played was in 2012. So Twitter was a thing. It wasn't as like rabid as it is now. I just wasn't prepared for people to take, because they don't, someone who's just watching Traitors doesn't know how I play Big Brother. I wasn't necessarily, I didn't know that people would take my moves as like anything other than game moves. And so I think that was the part where I'm like, okay, like I understand people can view it however they want. And I can just say, this is how I play. And if you like it, cool. And if not, that's fine too.
I respect that. Yeah, it's definitely a different time now, and trust me, I get it. I get it. Twitter is vicious,
but
okay? These Big Brother fans are crazy. We love them, but they're also crazy.
But the thing is, like in some way, like you respect the passion because it's like if you could pull up NFL Twitter, and it's the same thing. Like people love what they love, and if I'm trying to take down your favorite NFL team or I'm on the other team, like I get it. So I don't take it personal at all.
Yeah, I had to learn the hard way. I tried to take out Tiffany. They hated me. It took forever. I was like, please, let's just play the game. They hated me. But you know what? I get that. And, I understand that.
The last thing I want to say is I think that you've seen it. You get a lot of comparison about Dan as a Big Brother player in comparison to Dan as a traitor. Oh, and then did Dan mess up his legacy? And he doesn't translate as a good trader to BB. And I'll let you respond. My thing that I want to say is, first of all, you were always one of my favorite players.
Thank you.
I found, researched your book. I did it twice. And just for people to know, it's not a book on how to play the game. It's just actually how to get cast on television. But it was so thorough and thought out and detailed that I only applied one time using Dan's strategy. And he didn't have a strategy on how to play. He had a strategy on how to get cast, and it worked for me. And I went through the book 3 times before I actually was like, this is my formula. This is it. So thank you for that. And I know you've
I'm
pulled in
glad it
people
worked for you.
it worked for me. And I attributed my getting on to me. No, I'm just kidding. But I was like,
No, it is, but you
it
knew how to
helped.
package yourself. Like
You,
you
I
you
didn't
sometimes
though
is
at first.
yeah.
I didn't at first. I'm telling you, before I found that, my tape compared to what I came up with after your book was a whole different package.
Well, I'm glad
But
it worked for you.
I want to say, my own personal opinion in how people play one game versus another, because people may say I played a great Big Brother game, but you put me on the challenge, and I'll tell you personally, I don't view myself as being a great challenger at all. It's a different game, it's different skill sets. Um, but I still don't think that your time on Traitors, the way you played your game on Traitors, takes anything away from who you are as a Big Brother player, your legend as status as a Big Brother player. I definitely described it for me. It's like Michael Jordan being an athlete and then putting him on the baseball field and saying, well, you're an athlete, you did this, you're an all-star, you should be able to be an all-star over here as well. I mean, I may be able to play a good game, but maybe I won't get the accolades that I did from playing basketball. That doesn't mean that I'm not a good basketball player. It doesn't take anything away. I know people have come at you for that, but I know that it doesn't make you feel that you don't deserve the resume that you earned already.
No, well, I appreciate the comparison, but for me, if I was worried about that, I would never have gone on the show. But to me, I wanted to go play the game, and I think what you saw, and it wasn't effective. I think my take on this is I felt like I had good strategy, but my execution wasn't good. It was horrible. Like the timing wasn't right. I think the strategy was good. I think making the play at Phaedra was good. Bad timing, didn't work up enough social credit to get the votes. But for me, like I wanted to challenge myself and play a fun new game. And for me, if you look at what I did, it's the same playbook. Like start slow, get to know people, and I'm going to take a big shot. I'm always going to go down swinging. I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to try and find strategic loopholes and do everything I can. The problem with that is this game is just so much faster. And I was planning for the last fire, like when your people are throwing the stuff in, and I wasn't worried about the day in front of me. And I think, and I don't think it'll ever happen. If I ever were to play again, it'd be different. I mean, it would be a completely different thing because I now have experience playing another sport. But I look at everything on the show, and it was a fun, amazing experience. And I hope at the end of the day, people just know I did everything I could, and I'm going to take a big shot. And the difference is, like, the funeral worked and this didn't. If this move worked, I'm probably sitting at the end or in a much better position. It just didn't work. Yeah. And, I had so much fun. I really had such an amazing experience with this. And I think it's like, this was it for me.
I get that. I want to say this, Dan. I'm glad that you did do it because it kind of shows, like Tiffany was saying, somebody like Michael Jordan, you put Michael Jordan in baseball, it's not going to be the same. And I think that's good because it also shows you're human, okay? And that it's okay, like things are not going to go every way that you think it is, So I think I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, it took a moment because like I'm expecting, like I'm going there, I'm like, I'm winning this thing. Like there's like, in my mind, it's like, this is what I do. And then it took a little bit, but there's a moment, and Kate said it to me on the way out. She's like, you can't be good and win at everything. And I'm like, that didn't cross my mind. Cause I go into these games thinking like, how can I win? Not well, how, can I just last another day? And I'm just, when I play these things, I'm thinking all the way to the end. And I, you know, for anyone that watches this that does play the Traitors, it's a very different game. And, you know, you have to play really fast. And for me, one of the things I was uncomfortable with is that I was just worried about saying something and having it flip back on me. Because in Big Brother, like, I have 10 days or 7 days to make up for a mistake. This is like, you don't have 10 seconds. But
one thing
it was
I
an
do wanna
amazing
say-
experience. Yeah.
Do you now you saying that you have so much time in Big Brother and then this being such a fast-paced game, to me, the people who have the greatest advantage of playing a fast game, the challenge, Traitors, are survivor players.
I'm glad you said that. That's what I had right here.
Yeah, they do.
But here's, you want to know, I agree with that. And here's the other thing why, is that their tribal councils are round tables. We don't have that in Big Brother, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do it, is that, like, in Big Brother, if Derek's mad at me, we'll go talk for an hour and we'll walk out and be like, oh, we're cool. And like, and you never really have to account for everything you do in front of everyone, because I'd be in trouble every day of the week.
I might tell you, I might call you a bitch behind your back, but other than that, we cool, I guess. You know?
But like, even if we're arch enemies, like, there's going to be a chance. You know that all options are always going to be open with me. You know?
Tiff said that. She said, I wish that we had like a discussion, like, you know, more like a discussion before people go vote and
our
things
veto
like
meeting.
that.
If the veto was different, like, veto should be different. Like, I want to argue, like, I want to plead my case, but I want to call people out. I don't want to have a house meeting. I want it to be a part of the game where people can't hide, and you can hide in Big Brother. But, you know, like you said, their tribal councils are like round tables. And yeah. Well, I appreciate your time.
Thank you,
You're
Tam.
amazing. This is our first time getting, me and you personally, it's like to sit and chat and talk. And it has been a long time, but it was worth it. And thank you so much. I look forward to watching you on Traitors. And if you do anything else, write a book about strategies. Give it to me only, because I need it. And then we'll just keep it at that.
Oh, you did well. You made it pretty far, right? You made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
She came up with a whole plan to get us to the end. So
You need to be writing the book, not me.
right. Like, I will say this, that if you had to, like, let's say me and Tiff go into Traitors, right? What do you see us each being? Would you?
I mean, just based off this conversation, Tiff is very like, like, very like dialed in, and you're very like boisterous, and so I'm like, Derek, faithful, Tiff, traitor.
I'm gonna put you on the spot before you go. Give me. You probably don't even have a BB Mount Rushmore. I'm not gonna even do it to you, because somebody do it to me. I'd be. Then goes me, and me.
No, you know. The thing is, I don't watch anymore.
I know.
I'll watch the finale, and like, it's a lot of television, and I think this is, I mean, you watch the Traitors, right? It's an exciting, brand new show. They got some stuff they knowingly say they're going to work on. The competitions, I think there needs to be something different. I mean, and it's a second season. It's Big Brother in year one was way different. But I think Big Brother hasn't evolved. Like, I really, like, from a gameplay standpoint, even from like a presentation and production standpoint, you're going to get like these funny, like, kooky cuts. And it's like, you know, so I think this is going to put pressure on all reality TV shows to change things up, to bring people back. Yes. And I think it's going to be good for the viewers.
I will say this, Dan, they did BB reindeer games. Of course, I think you can do that if you decide to do something else again. I thought that was good because it got right to the point. I'm not going to lie, Dan. If it wasn't for Tiffany, I'd be ripping Big Brother apart, because it is so long. Sometimes it's so corny, and I'd just be like, get to the point. And Julie be like, tune in next week. And I'd be like, girl, we already know who's going to go home. We have the live feeds. Like,
we
it
can
just
wrap
kills
this
me
Big
sometimes.
Brother 3 episodes up into one episode.
Right.
No. I mean, I'll tell you, they did call. I mean, of course. I would say, yeah. No, like for this last
reindeer
one.
game?
Like, yeah, I'm just like, I just did this, you know, and I think I was under contract too, you know.
Reindeer games.
But here's my thing. I'm with you. I think that's like good. Like I think they can take stuff from reindeer games and hopefully
it.
evolve the main game too.
Yeah. Dan, we would love to see you play again. We're not going to hold you any longer. This was great. This was more for Tiffany. She's been talking about you constantly. She loves you, okay? I just been here just to give you shit, of course, okay? I'm just the sidekick.
I
But
told him too. I said, Derek, do
be on your
not
best
run
behavior.
him
Yep.
off. That's
See? She gave me a whole breakdown. She's like, we're not going to be talking long. We're going to ask these questions. That's it. I want to see what questions. But I do want to say this, Dan. Don't ever say never. You know, you're still young. You got 3 kids. You definitely could play again. And if I see you in a competition show, just know I'm taking your ass out as soon as I can, okay? Just so you know that. I don't want to work with you. No, I don't need you. I already had a Tiffany who's a mastermind. I don't need another mastermind trying to play me, okay?
Derek. Don't... There's always a way. Derek, look. There's always a way.
Never say never. Take your own advice.
Don't burn the bridge yet. We haven't even started playing yet.
That's true. You know, we got to talk about boxing, though. But yes, Dan, thank you so much. Tip, any last minute things, of course?
I just want to say it was a pleasure. I appreciate your time. Much blessings to you and your family and the kids. And I look forward to meeting you face to face one day.
Yeah, no, it was great to meet you, and send me some extra blessings because we got to shoot this reunion, and I'm sure there's going to be some bullets flying my way. So,
Tip, any last minute thoughts on this episode? You know, anything you want to add?
You know, if this is the end of the reign of Phaedra, it has been a very good reign for her. She's still a queen, a diva, a Phaedra attorney at law. If she makes it out of this, once again, everything I just said still stands. And I will be surprised that Peter has even made it this long. He's been on the radar for so long. I don't understand how Peter is still there. But I think that regardless, both of their days are numbered, unfortunately.
I do agree with that. And Peter also looks like he's ready to go. Like, some people you can really tell they're ready to go. Peter just looks like he's ready to go. I do agree. And I will also suggest to the fans, if you guys, if this is your first time watching Phaedra Parks, go back and watch the Housewives episodes on, I think they might have them on Hulu or whatever, or Peacock. They may have them on Peacock. Go back and watch her seasons, because her reads and reunions are like iconic to why we are at where we're at now with Phaedra. But until next, guys, thank you, Dan, for joining us on this episode. We truly appreciate you. And until next time, guys, see you next week. Bye.